Morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning live for May 18th, 2022. I appreciate you guys joining for today. A lot of things to discuss still. Market is still volatile, small ups, small downs. The consumer discount stores is taking a huge hit. Walmart started it off, with their earnings coming out. They missed it, and then Target this morning. So, we're seeing some downside in this sector. Definitely discount. It should be more discounts coming. But it's time to watch this. If you guys took advantage of the puts for earnings, you guys should be up pretty nicely. Especially if you got the cheaper ones, of course. But definitely looking like discounts is going on over there. Facebook is down to about under 200 again. Let's see what happens. Are we gonna have continued downside? Are we gonna have a bounce there? But it's definitely time to start looking around and readjusting the initial plan coming into the week. So let's see how it go for sure. Let's start off with Carnival Cruise Line. We've been talking about travel for a little minute. Different things with travel, seeing that travel is at a discount still on the 1 week, $13.11 is the bottom. We're still in between that $14.87 and $14.03. So it's not like it's out of the question or it's gone. It's just, figuring out what it's want to do. I told you guys everything may not recover until June. You know what I mean? So seemingly June is a good month. So taking advantage of some of these discounts at the bottom and, going further out on contracts is smart. But even if you're taking advantage of them, on the weekly when they come down to the bottom and grabbing some, weekly contracts, definitely can take advantage of that also. So please pay attention to some of these. Here go the 15-minute chart for Carnival Cruise Line. You notice that it did test the 1490 here, didn't break it. That's a double top setup there. So we should be able to see 1403 at least. That's where the gap up on the 16th is. And there was a lot of gap ups this week. So I'm expecting some of them gaps to get filled coming up soon. So let's see what's going on with Carnival. I'm sorry, we should have started off with SPY, of course. Let's go look at SPY real quick. It's down below the 404, 405 area where we was waiting for that to break. But let's go look at the chart. We seen resistance was at 409.44. And then we had a resistance area that we had to break over. It was around the 407. Is that right? Yeah, 408. So I got every in-between area. I understand, sometimes you don't really see it unless you go to a small time frame. But it seemed like we definitely, didn't break over that next level on the 5 or the 15. Looking like we're coming down to retest that support at 402.95. So, pay attention to that area for a bounce, or if it breaks below, we may be going down to the gap fill is around $400. So yesterday I did talk about how, you may see a test towards the 410. It didn't really make it up there all the way. It got to about 409, but let's see if we hold over this 402, 95, basically 403. We may see a retest towards that 409, 410 area. So be patient on your charting. You feel me? Especially during this time when you see these consolidations like we had the day, before the gap up. We may see a consolidation, the same type of deal. So please be careful and aware. Don't be so aggressive in this market. This is a volatile market, so it's not the time to be extremely aggressive. But if you guys taking advantage of these puts on the earning calls, congratulations. That's pretty much a given since Walmart was breaking down. I'm not gonna lie, I got lucky. I was just going for what was the cheapest, and then it worked. I mean, every time earnings come out, I'm not trying to spend more than $25 on the contract. I'm literally trying to find $17 contracts, $30 contract at most. So, sometimes, I may get a $50 or $60 contract, but $17, $20, $25, $30, that's fine with me to risk, right? Especially when you're doing puts. And that goes for the same way with calls, right? You can be aggressive on calls as long as it's between $30 and $25, $30. So let's see how that goes. Hopefully you guys are paying attention to some of these puts. They're extremely, volatile and they're making money. Even if you get the put the day of, like Walmart put, it went from $17 to $50 before it went up another 400%. So don't feel like, though, I can't get puts no more because, it's already been played out. No, just wait and see what happens first thing in the morning. If it continue to drop, you can definitely get the same put. You know what I mean? So for a day trade, hopefully, but Walmart and Target is getting beat down. So, you know, we may be back. We were back below the 130 on Walmart. It looking like we're at the 129, below the 129. What's this right here? 129.70 was my bottom support. My next level is 127, and it's looking like it's kind of fighting that area right now. So, you know, if it drops more, we can be going down to about 120, 125. So this can be drastic for Walmart and Target. Now, I mean, even Costco is getting hit pretty hard. But only thing I'm kicking myself is I sold that 150 put. That was a crazy put from last week, man. But either way, you can't really cry over that. It's definitely coming down. So we're definitely down here to the 127s, 129s, and let's see what happens from there. And Target came out earnings this morning. I just woke up and seen Target was down, you know, 25%. I'm like, Jesus, this is crazy. I have no area of support at that level. More likely is get a bounce from the RSI back to about 168 probably. But yeah, this is a drastic downside for Target. So if you guys remembered that the earnings was yesterday and took advantage of these cheap puts, I mean, congrats, but I don't know if it's going to keep happening like this as far as these puts being so cheap and being, you know, so expensive once the next day comes. So please pay attention. I know it's a lot to talk about throughout the day, but we have to have a focus. Now, I mean, we've been yelling about Walmart and Target earnings for the last 3-4 weeks, probably a month since they ran all the way up to the height. So now that we're down at the bottom, this was just 250. That's the craziest thing about it. It was just 250 in the beginning of April 18th, it ran up to 250. Now automatically you see the downside, of course, from the 250, but I did not expect it to come down to 162. So we're definitely looking at the bottom here. It looked like support is around 168. I see some support, 166, 152. So there's some areas that I could fill in using this data from 2020. But yeah, that just happened. So congrats if you guys got lucky and took advantage of that. That was a strictly luck. I didn't think Target was gonna break down like that. What else we got on the playlist, man? PayPal, FedEx, of course. Let's look at PayPal real quick. And this is all patience. That's why I put my PayPals out so far. I told you guys it's a good area to get in around 79.11 or below. And now we're back into that below. You had a little bounce, you know, yesterday, and it had a nice little move towards 80. Didn't really break above the 80, and now you're starting to see it come back below that support, which is okay. We're going super long on this. I think this is going to be at least $90 by July, probably more likely. But we're gonna have to be patient and wait for that entry to come. Our ideal price range will be $74 to $72, you know what I mean? But since we're already holding at this area, this is, of course, a good price also. If you see it break down and you miss you didn't set your alerts for the $74 or the $75, 72 or $74 area, you can always set your alert towards this, because once it recovers back up and recovers to $78.66, you could definitely start trading it from there, you know, and we know our target to break above is 80, because this is a double top scenario. So you definitely got to wait until we get back above the 80. But I feel like, again, we're bullish in the next few months. And, you know, a lot of people going to be surprised. But if June come out bearish, that'll be a sign of just more downside. But I don't think so. I think we're going to have some strong June numbers, strong July numbers. We know that the summer brings a lot of money to the economy. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, man. Definitely intrigued on what's going on in the market, man. We see, you know, Apple getting beat down. We're seeing Facebook is, you know, again, it's below the 200. Let's go look at Facebook. Oh, did I go over Facebook? I think I mentioned it. Here we go. Here go Facebook. We had the gap fill all the way down to the 185. And then we had the recovery back towards the resistance. Notice the same things. This is why I circle and I do all this stuff, because it's not for, you know, making stuff look cool. Again, I'm really just trying to figure out what's going on. So if I see a triple top here, you know, double top yesterday, that's what's going on. At 204.42, didn't break above it. Now you're starting to see the downside. This is why I stay consistent on looking for what I recognize. It's easy to, go in and be like, oh yeah, this is that. But if you're not familiar with what you're looking for, you're never going to be able to figure out what your entry going to be. So double bottom here, triple top here, let it come down to at least support 197, see what happened at that area, make decisions on what you want to do. But you can probably make a trade from 197 up to 204, knowing that that's the resistance. And especially if we start creating a consolidation like we had back here, we can definitely start seeing a bounce here and, nice little consolidation. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to Facebook. I want to go long on Facebook. You guys see some of the contracts I put out for them. It's all the way to June. So I'm definitely paying attention with this one because I really feel like they're going to have a crazy, crazy number coming up soon. So let's see what happened, man. FedEx finally had the breakout that we was expecting once it got above 217. It gave us a nice little move towards the resistance. Not really at the 224, but it hit 222. That's not bad. But we've been looking at Facebook FedEx for a very long time. Just consistently being aware of, the possibilities of catching the quality businesses at a discount. This was just 196. I told you guys I missed that entry at 196, but I didn't miss it at 203. It's a reason, you have your resistance area and you have your support. If you miss your bottom support, you can always get in at this area. You just got to buy yourself a little time. And then it finally broke above and held, the 213 once that was resistance, and broke above the 216 and had a nice run to 222. It's at 219 now. But the next level is 224. If we get above the 224, we'll be heading towards that trend line on the downside on the 1 week. And then you'll be able to, see if it breaks this trend line or, breaks back down. Hopefully it breaks above, because I really want to see what happens once it gets above 230. But if it breaks down, that's fine also. We're in, you see the setup. The setup is already there. The bottom support is there. So we definitely got a 3 king setup on the 1 week. So it looked like we may have to break above this up to the 230s, and then we can make decisions on what you want to do from there. From 230 to 259 is my next stretch. So that's why I was putting out June 250 calls almost a month ago. Now, I was really putting them out on the beginning of April because I really wanted to see, how this was going to react. This is around this time I was putting out the 250s. And I was barely at the 203, almost at the same area. So let's go down to the one that give you the exact date. Here go 4/8 is when I put the contract out. Notice what happened the next day. Reversal, that's at 200. So it's a reason why I'm putting out the contracts that I'm putting out at the prices that I'm putting them out. This is at $200, 250 call for June. And then, your patience, of course, you got to be patient because it fought the 208. Then it broke down below. You'll be in a negative at this point, a decision to average down to not. But think about it. This June, this was in April. We got 2 months. So hopefully nobody didn't panic off of that and then just, kind of let it go and retest itself. So, even if you got the 210 for this week, that one worked out beautifully. And that was put out around the same time. You could have traded it from this area, or you could have, retraded it again. So taking notes and paying attention is very important, and it's not about, I got to stare at the charts or do all this. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible by telling you guys alert areas. So if you guys are taking advantage of the alert areas, you will have taken advantage of at least 203 entry. So, this is, one of the ones that's been beat down on the last year, just like the majority of the market. You see, back in June, this was $300. And since then, it's been all the way broken down. Let's see what happened. Are we going to be able to, break above this 231 and have a nice move towards that next resistance around 240? Or are we going to go up to this trend line, miss it, and then come back down to that 203 or 209 area? So I like FedEx. I really do. I feel like FedEx is at a huge discount. It's going to have a nice recovery. So let's see what happened with that for sure. XOM. We was waiting on XOM for so long to get above this $92.50. It's at $92.60 right now. Let's see if we hold here. This is a tough area. I don't think it came up to it closely here, but it really didn't make it above it. Now it's finally above it. My next target is still same target, $94. So we now got to get above this 94 to have a huge continuation. But this is a mega move, coming from last week being at $84 to this week being at 92. This is a mega move. It had a small area consolidation here where it went from, 84, 83 all the way up to 88 and finally broke above the 88, gave you a small window of sideways movement between the 88 and 88.92, and that's why my charts I rely on these charts. And then it broke up again. So the same story, different trade, right? Every time you see a stock break up and that uptrend is consistent and it consolidates a small area, just expect another move, right? That's being consistent. We just have to be consistent on that. We got to believe that we're going to have another move once we got above the 88.92. Sometimes it seems like it's impossible. It's like it's impossible. And I get it. It's fear in the market. No one wants you to really know how to do this exactly. But I'm trying to simplify this as much as possible so we can be able to make some money. But yeah, ExxonMobil looking like it's going to have a nice push towards 94 eventually. Even if it don't hold here and come back down to 91, that's giving us some downside, a little bit of slowdown. RSI is still in a good place though. So I feel like it's not going to do that. I think it's going to have a nice move. 4-hour RSI is kind of high. So we may have a little downside on the 4. Let's check the 1-day RSI, 1 week RSI here. This is the 1-day RSI at 61. So we may have a nice push. Let's see what happened with that 4-hour RSIs. That's going to give us 4 hours worth of sideways movements. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens. I'm definitely, happy that it's finally breaking above the resistances. That's the one thing I'm happy about. MRK talked about on Monday, $92.50 trade, and then the $95 trade, and all this was leaning towards June. So you had plenty of time to capitalize off of it. And even if you wanted to be cheaper and go for the weekly, that was an opportunity for that also. So the height of this ran up to about $94.55. Those contracts ran up to over 200%. And I know I'm telling you guys to get 30% because y'all don't really know the lingo. If you know the lingo, tell me. You feel what I'm saying? But if you don't know the lingo, go for that 30, 40, 50% probably. But this made an amazing move. Again, we've been yelling about this since 78 and probably below. Now, I mean, way down here at 78, we've been talking about MRK. And now MRK finally doing what they're supposed to do. It ran up to as much as 94.55. Contracts cash out at 250%. And now we're having some downside, which is fine. We're going to more than likely have a retest. We had an upside here on Monday, and then they had a retest breakout right there. So we may have a retest towards that 94. Hopefully we do, because I want more. I mean, that's not being greedy. That's just looking at the chart, seeing how bullish it is on the 1 week. I believe it's going to give me more. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens. Definitely still bullish on it. Target now that we have data because of the stock has reached a certain point, the MRK target is still 94.55. We have to get above 94.55. That's why I put you guys contracts out all the way to June. On Sunday session, I told you guys to get MRK 92.5s or $95 calls for June because they're extremely cheap and got plenty of time. So if we do break above this 94, the 92.50s is deep off in the money. But the 95s hit deep off in the money too once it ran up to 94. So if you guys wanted to re-enter this trade, I'll say wait. Again, wait for the consolidation, wait for the downside to end. It may come down to 91.48, or the moving average is right here. This is the 200-day moving average. It's sitting at 91.71. And then just set your alerts for those areas. And then once it comes down to that price, then we may have a retest towards that 95 and you can be able to make a decision. But we've been waiting for MRK to make that move for months. So I'm just happy that it's actually working. You know what I mean? So congrats if you guys took advantage for the Sunday session trade just this week. And congrats if you guys been holding this for a very long time. I put out $90 call for 520 probably 2 months ago. So congrats on that, guys. What else we got, man? I mean, Anybody got any questions, comments so far? UVXY. I told you guys I'm gonna hold on to my UVXY $16 call for next week. Just because of the charting. I lean on charting, you know what I mean? When SPY was going up, $2 and going from 405 up to 408 and 409, this didn't really go below support. I just wanted you guys to see this, the 4-hour chart for UVXY. This really didn't break below the 1492. Kind of, stayed in place. That's a good sign. Now, I mean, usually when SPY is moving the way it's moving, this would break down. But this kind of held that support. You see the reversal candle here. It's holding that support. We're above the 1471. My next target is $15.35. Now, I mean, we talking about $16 calls for next week at the same $14 area. You know what I mean? 1430, I was talking about it, 1450. So, that small level of moves is opportunity. The only reason I talked about this yesterday was because Ken mentioned something for sure, but I wanted to go back to my charting. This is why I circle here old resistance. Notice where's the new support at the same level. So this is why I'm consistent on charting, because I want you guys to understand how valuable it is. Sometimes we don't really understand how valuable charting is the wave. That's how you really make the money. So let's see what happens. If we get a nice little pushback up here towards the $15.35, you can be able to cash out. You got plenty of time on your contracts. We're aiming for the 30% still, right? You can, cash out this morning, depending on how it looks. But either way, we got plenty of time on the contracts. We could, go from $14.29 to $16.36. That's a little bit of a route. But knowing that these gaps is in SPY and knowing that these gaps is in all these other sectors, we may have a nice $16 run from out of UVXY next week. So that's why I want to kind of put you guys into something, a little bit of more time on it, more than a weekly. The price range was reasonable. And, you can definitely take advantage of it. With all these gap ups, I really think SPY, look, we're right there at support right now on SPY. If we break below this support, man, we're down. We're going to fill that gap at $400. We noticed that it was a consolidation at the same area. So we definitely may come down to the bottom, which is about 398.65. So stay consistent. Don't feel like once you make money off one trade, you can just leisurely do the next trade without a plan. Don't feel like that. Be patient, stay consistent. When you see something like SPY was going crazy yesterday, we know SPY been getting beat down on the weekly. You feel what I'm saying? Like SPY's been getting beat down. Bullish and Golf trying to come in now, but still, overall, it's been a downtrend on SPY. So when you see SPY super green like that, don't be hesitant to be like, I'm gonna grab some puts. You know what I mean? Like, just because we had 2 good days, I mean, one day was a consolidation day, the next day was a good day, but we're still in a bearish market, guys. We're not, the reversal sign don't come until the trend line breaks. So we're still in a bearish market. So let this stuff play out. If you're confused on this time of the year, if you don't like it, if you're like, man, it's too risky for me, just sit back and chill. Once these signs of reversal start breaking out these downtrends, we're going to let you know. Because once these downtrends start changing, it's going to be money time. It's going to be money time because it's nothing but reversal signs. You feel me? Nothing but push. So, we're paying attention. I've seen people talking about, SPY. I'll say I got SPY 450 put all the way towards July. You feel what I'm saying? I felt like buying that at the cheapest price is the smartest thing to do. It's the next resistance level above the 438. You feel what I'm saying? It was remember it ran up to 448. That became the resistance kind of. I like it the way it, 450. I'm not really going too far out from 450. If I go further, it may be a 480 at the max, but 450 is the range. Just because it never been above 480, you really don't want to get stuff that hasn't been there yet. Now, I mean, I know it seems like, oh man, it can break, it can run up to 500 at any time. Yeah, sure, but the downtrend hasn't changed. The resistances hasn't really been broken above, which is the main resistance is 428. You notice where my orange line at? That's the main resistance. If we break that 428, that's now we feel like it's possible. But if you guys are paying attention, man, please look at these prices and think discount. Don't think I don't want to trade, especially if it breaks back down to that bottom support at about 385. Don't be scared. I mean, this is the time to get these discounts for long-term, discounts for contracts or whatever you need, and then take advantage of the market when it recovers. I think it's going to recover. I don't think we're going to have a full year of just bear market. There's too much money to be made. There's too many people out here investing. So let's see. I may be wrong, but last year, June, we've seen what happened going off of history. What else we got going on for the day, man? Anybody got questions, comments, or concern? Oil stocks are still up. I see a lot of people. Let's talk about that just for generally. I know people are like, man, should I buy oil stocks for whole shares now? My suggestion is not to buy nothing in whole shares for oil, just because we're close to the all-time highs. Just a suggestion, my long-term stock is Valero. They pay high dividends. And again, I put this out at $40, $50. I didn't put this out, at 100. Now, I mean, it was at $40 or $50 back in 2020. Overall downtrend change. Like, I had so much data that, this was an easy to take advantage of. Look at where it's at now. Is that, all-time high is 131. Look at the RSI on the monthly. Yep. So when that reverse, and let's talk about this too. When that reversal, if the reversal come in for June and July, oil stocks is going to drop. RSI on the monthly is still high. You feel me? Look, when let's show you why RSI is very important. Relative strength index, for the people that don't know what RSI means. Notice here, on the RSI, when it peaked at 81, which was here back in 2018, look what happened when that RSI peaked. It started to break down. You feel me? From 2018 all the way down to pandemic, the RSI had to come all the way down before it had a bounce. Now, when RSI got to 35, which was in 2020 pandemic, that's when it started recovering itself. And now we're almost close to that high RSI level where it broke down back in 2018. That's just a fun fact for you guys to, understand what I mean by high RSIs, how to take advantage of the high RSIs. So, those puts that QC was posting, I wasn't mad at those puts. I just want him to extend those for more time, because I feel like once tech start making a move, oil is going to drop off. Maybe not a lot, maybe just slightly, but it's going to drop off. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're in whole shares for Valero at $50, you should be up almost 130%. Don't feel afraid to downsize on your position when it reaches up to 130 again. Don't be afraid to be like, man, let me go ahead and take some off the top here. It pays a consistent dividend, but what you don't want to get caught in is losing a whole share percentage because you want to keep on holding that dividend. I'd rather collect that whole share percentage, leave 25% of the position in there, and then take that money and go look at Walmart, Target, Tech, you feel me, which is getting on discount. So just in perspective, I'm just putting y'all on AMD, NVIDIA, like there's a lot of great companies out here that's still on discount that need to be evaluated and looked at. And speaking of AMD, we seen what happened yesterday once they got above the $100 area. We've been talking about that $100 area for a very long time. We're holding at the $100 right now. The monthly look like it is kind of coming in bullish. But here go your area, right? The bottom of AMD was around $83. Then the earnings came out, had a nice spike back above 93, and then we broke above 97. It was that nice 103. I like AMD as a company. I feel like they're going to be around for a while. Semiconductors, we put out AMD last year around the same areas, 85 to 100. I say, man, once it breaks 100, we're gone. Everybody remember I put out the 130 call for AMD, and it went to 155. So I'm used to seeing this type of stuff. So don't feel like I'm telling you something that's flawed. We traded AMD from 100 to 155 in a 130 call, and we just kept on adding on 140s and every time it started breaking level, we just kept adding stuff on. But we took advantage of this full trade. I'm not saying it's going to do it again, This is what you got to look at. Downtrend, same stuff we talked about with SPY and everything else. Until this downtrend breaks, which you see is kind of like at the border. No, let's go to the 1 day. Boom, you might see a little bit clearer here, right? So as soon as this downtrend breaks, you know, we're right there at the cusp, almost at the cusp of that. When that downtrend break, the conversation changed. This is the same downtrend we caught with NVIDIA. This is the same downtrend we caught with CRM, Salesforce. When that downtrend changes on a bigger time frame, that's when we get aggressive and start looking for that retest towards that 160 or 150. Now, I mean, until then, all we can do is trade within the zone. And if you guys are new to this, and if you're not familiar with me talking like this, I need you guys to understand what I mean, right? Let's go from top resistance all the way down to the bottom support. This is quadrant lines. So I'm gonna show you guys where this is your zone. Your target should be around 125. Your bottom support should be around 85. Your mid should be 94. You feel what I'm saying? Once it broke above 94, conversation change. You know, look what's happening when I'm putting my quadrant lines in there. Everything is aligning up, right? Boom. Once I get out of this is the 1 day chart. That bottom is 80, 85, 94, and 104. This is how you trade within the zone. Once it come to 84, your max contract, in my opinion, if you're doing 2 weeks out, 1 week out, should be $95 calls. If it breaks above 94, your max contract should be 105s. If it breaks above 104, your max contract should be 115. Don't that sound familiar? We traded the 115 last year with the same setup. Look, let's go back in history. This is last year, 85, 94, look, this that 104 area, 115. Once it broke above the 123 top line, look what happened. Big move. All these resistances are consistent. And this is from 2021. Resistance here at 122.93. Once it broke above that, made a move. Resistance here at 113.62. Came down to held that support a little bit. Created a small downtrend. So this is another thing we can do. It did create a small downtrend here. Now, I mean, it broke below slightly. It wasn't perfect, but it was perfect enough to take advantage of because we did put out 115s. We did put out 120s. We did put out 125s. We put out everything. Right here, boom, small downtrend. Look what happened when that small downtrend broke. Bigger move. Now, I mean, this is why charting is amazing. Have to be consistent on charting. Now, I mean, I can't even tell you that enough. Broke the downtrend here on that temp. Higher lows is what you're looking for. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Broke out of that. Bigger move. Now, I mean, once you broke above 123, it's gone. It's gone. So same rule applied. Nothing changes. Come back over here. Same thing. It's a small little area of gap. It may come back down to 94. Cool. If we hold 94, we know we can get a 105 call. We know at 105 we can get a 115. We know at 115 we get a 125. Everybody understand that?
Yeah. Hey Dave, I came to the call a little late. You mind checking on NVIDIA and Netflix for me?
Oh yeah, for sure. And Netflix too?
Yeah, and Netflix.
Oh. There go NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the same setup as AMD. There's nothing really too much different. Bottom 158, resistance around 180. Now we're right below the 180 again. Look for a hold at 171. But it's almost the same as that. They move exactly the same. When they broke out, AMD broke out together. So nothing too much different there, just different numbers. But we know that 158 is ideal entry. So let's see what happened. If it continues to go down and it's not really holding, this is the 1 day chart. Let's go down to the 15, show you what I mean. Here go the 15-minute chart. It's just right there at that 15-minute support where it was at support here on the 17th. It had a small little break up to 182. It went from 177 to 182. Last week, I think Jay Finn asked me to do something with it, and it kind of bounced all the way up from 158 up to the 180. You know what I mean? So that worked. But the same rules still apply. Once it got above 171, you look for the next levels. Let's see if it come down to 171. I think 171 is ideal. I could be wrong, but let's see if it come down to 171. I'll set my alert towards 171. Is that 177 support now? But I'll set my alert towards 171.
Gotcha. And because they got earnings next week, and I was just checking that out. I was thinking about a $200 call, possibly.
Yeah, that could work. Wait till you get to the cheapest point. It could work for sure. Today should be a red day. We had some good days for the last 2 days. Consolidation day Monday, red day, green day yesterday.
I definitely think it's going to be a red day today. I was looking at it all day yesterday, and it wasn't really no price action, but it was just consolidating, like you said. So
consolidate. I told you we want consolidation. That's what we want. I love it. When it consolidates, it helps me. It's an easier transition. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Netflix, I was just looking, I didn't even chart it or anything. I just looked at it, and it's like the RSI is extremely low. Facts. So it might just have an RSI bounce.
Yeah, for sure. 186.10 has to hold. Your target should be around 190. I ain't gonna lie. I traded Netflix when it dropped. I think I did like a $200 call. I don't know what day that was. But I did something and it worked. Now, I mean, when that RSI goes, I think it was the week of the earnings too. When that RSI dropped that low, you have to understand what you're doing. You feel me? You got to take advantage of those RSIs. Now, I mean, that's the easiest way to kind of give you confirmation if you should get in or not. That's probably the easiest way.
Yep, and I seen that this morning. Like I said, it's extremely low. So maybe a 200 and 210 call would work.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Real quick, I ain't trying to hold y'all. I told y'all about BBIG back on this consolidation. Had a big spike up to $4. Then it broke back down to back to the consolidation area or below. It's about 235. Now we're back at $3. When you see a big spike out of penny stock, it's going to more than likely come down and retrace. And then it's going to have a slower movement on the way up. Look for a break above that $3.14. And then, $4 is your target. Penny stock. That's a penny stock, guys. And it's the same penny stock I put out 2 weeks ago when it spiked up. Those contracts were $5. Those cashing out at 45. 0.5, 0.05. Those cashing out at 45 cents. Cheap. You know what I mean? That's almost 800% move. So cheap, man. Everything I'm looking at, bro, is cheap. I'm not trying to spend a lot of money on these contracts because the cheap stuff is winning. There's times in the market where you have to buy in the money calls. There's times in the market where you can buy out of the money calls. There's different times in the market where you can take advantage of what's going on. This is the cheap time. This is not the time to be like, man, I could spend $500 on a contract and make, man, your percentage ain't looking like mine. You feel me? And I'm not trying to say lean on percentages. I'm trying to say, dude, look for the cheap stuff. You know what I mean? This is a good cheap time. Anybody else got questions, comments, or concerns? 9:30 right now. I appreciate everybody for joining for sure. Everybody cool?
The market is red. It's like a good buy day.
UVXY, baby.
Yo, I got a $15 call on that. You go check it.
For sure. Go get that money, man. Go get the money.
Oh, wait, I had a quick question.
What's up?
You were talking about SPY earlier. How you doing this morning?
Good. I'm happy to be here.
Likewise. You was talking about SPY a few minutes ago. You said you had a put for SPY for July or a call?
A call for July, but that I bought mine at the bottom. It was like 387, 388.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought mine a little bit early. But again, you're gonna have a chance for all. Everything's gonna come back. The market is open now. Right. You see, SPY is dropping, holding at this support right here. I'm not saying it's gonna hold forever. 30-minute rule is real. Right. But yeah, that's why I said I was gonna hold UVXY, and then see how it go. But I'm not even gonna show y'all my target puts because I know people gonna be like, man, that sucked. But it's just unfortunate, I be preaching too much.
Okay, you had mentioned VLO. You said don't buy whole shares on oil. Did you have any thoughts for options on VLO?
No,
I've been
no,
listening to XOM
everything
for a
kind of
while, and I
maxed
haven't
out.
seen much on
Everywhere this
the
shit.
on the amount
Everything,
that I bet on.
everything on Valero maxed out. I wouldn't want to, I don't know the next levels because it hasn't been this high ever.
Okay,
You
I
know
got
what
you.
I'm saying? So now we're kind of in that maxed out area. Our RSI is kind of high. Your window of opportunity probably be up to the 130s at max, but it wouldn't be, nothing too extreme. I wouldn't put you in no 140, 135s.
All right, last question. I got in on that 130 put for Walmart. It's doing fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your thoughts moving forward though? Because I mean,
I,
it can't
I, I
just
still
be
got
this
my
great forever.
130. I'm thinking about selling it now because
Okay.
it broke down so decently. It went from 17 cents to $375. My target put, bro, man, listen, y'all better stop playing with me, man. When I be telling y'all about this stuff, y'all better pay attention. These target puts was 17 cents too. You feel me?
Right.
Dude, I'm just cashing out, bro. I'm just cashing out.
Yeah.
Even if you
I'm
got
with you when you're right. I appreciate the advice. That Sunday session really paid off for me.
no, for sure. I appreciate you being consistent. You see, notice how you just keep working at it, You're gonna pick it up. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? It seemed like it's impossible, but the opportunity is gonna be there. You're gonna learn how to do this. You just gotta be consistent at it. Some people just come
Right.
and look for the money answer without even looking for the background behind it. I'm giving y'all everything. You feel me? So yeah, man. I'm trying to wait for this put to load up. So the $200 puts, for Target, and this is the only one I'm gonna tell y'all about because I got almost every one of them. They were so cheap. I mean, Jesus.
You said for Target?
Yeah, it was almost $180 for the $200 put. They up $3,000, man. 2,000%.
Wow, this 130 put on Walmart up to 403. Say that again on the
Now I'm done. That's it. I paid $200 for a contract. Oh no, I paid $134 for the $200
for Target.
for Target. When I bought Walmart, I bought Target. So they all was at a cheap price. It was $134, and now they're worth $3,000.
Good Lord. Okay, then that's enough for me.
Yeah. And if I go through the 190s and the 180s, y'all be kind of mad at me. But I'll be trying to tell y'all, bro, you just gotta listen. There was 134. Let me screenshot it. You know what I mean? People think I'm probably playing. I appreciate you guys for sure for joining, man. It's definitely been a good day. Hopefully you guys are picking up information. I hope you guys are understanding what I mean.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Have a great day. Have a great day, everybody.
All love for sure. Y'all be blessed. Yeah.